What's going on, guys? Part 4. Geddy, Alex, my Effin life conversation. Let's get to it. Bam.
And I think when Neil joined the band, we discovered kind of a fellow traveler, because he had a great sense of humor and he fit right in with us. And after the first few weeks, which were strange, because let's talk about his audition. Shall we talk about his audition?
Wait, I was going to bring that up.
Okay. So, John Rutsey, our first drummer, was a very good drummer, different style of drumming, solid, not histrionic drum rolls, but really a good solid drummer. And he had sort of more simple rock and roll tastes. And we were starting to write and be influenced by bands like Yes and Genesis. And we wanted to make our music more complex. At the same time, we had finished our first album, and there had been some problems making that record. And John, who was supposed to be in charge of writing all the lyrics, on the night we were supposed to record the vocals, he didn't show up with the lyrics and tore them all up. And we only found that out the next day, and I had to write the lyrics really quickly. So clearly, we were at a kind of crossroads with him. And I think he also, because he was diabetic and he had some health issues, health concerns, I don't think he wanted to do this tour that we had planned. So suddenly we were without a drummer. So we held an audition. Now, I had never been to an audition before. Had you?
Not for Rush, no.
So good. And so we held this audition. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing, but we agreed that we wouldn't make any decision till we heard all 4 drummers.
Oh, 4.
There were 4.
Were you one of them?
Remember 3?
Neil, Jerry Fielding, and the guy with the orange hair. Yeah.
I thought there was a first guy that I had no memory of him.
Well, Jerry,
he was the first.
He toured with us.
He played it down.
He filled in for John for a month or 2.
I know, I was there.
I recognize you now.
So Jerry came first.
Yeah, Jerry was a done deal, and then Neil, and then that last guy came. Remember he had a little Volkswagen Bug?
No, I don't
Beetle? Yeah, he had his drums and he brought them out and set them up. I think he had his kick, a snare, one tom.
Yeah, he had a simple kit, and
Very
he wrote charts.
And
but the best part of it is we finished, Jerry left, and this Ford Pinto pulls up.
Right.
And this guy who's not wearing a shirt, he's got short hair, we're laughing at people with short hair. Short hair, it's got
He doesn't even have any velvet pants.
And so he hops out of the car, bounds out of the car. He was a big, lively cat. And he pulls out these green garbage bags that have drums in them. And he brings them in, he sets up a kit that's made out of 2, there was a Rogers kit with 2 small 18-inch bass drums. And he's setting it up, and Alex and I were thinking, who's this fucking
Maybe just put him back in the garbage bags again.
So he tunes the drums, and then he starts playing
triplets. Show off.
Triplets that wouldn't end.
Yeah.
And I'm really smiling. I'm really excited now. Because I knew this is fucking magic. And so I started talking to him excitedly, but you weren't happy.
No, I was like, this hair's pretty short.
And I was talking to him like he was already in the band. Like, we played through the songs from the first album, and then we played that bit in 7/8 that eventually became the song Anthem. And he had a problem with playing around. He was just killing it. So I was sold, and you were like,
At first, but as the day grew, because if you remember, he came relatively early in the morning, I think 11-ish. What's the matter with you? And we were there till 11 at night, which was still pretty early. Yeah, we didn't go that late, because I think they had a curfew there for 11 o'clock.
people are talking about memory. I mean, it's just...
And I remember that, what's this?
That's your foot.
And I remember,
Where did that come from?
What?
It's pretty gross.
What
But,
just happened?
you know, the whole day we were talking about everything. World events, literature, music. We smoked a joint, we had a bite to eat, we played.
Right. And I remember, Neil, thinking that you didn't like him because you didn't want to talk about it. And it wasn't until that very polite drummer that followed him where you kind of went, okay.
Yeah, well, that was...
That other guy was probably better.
Yeah, well, I knew he was better, and I knew he was great, but I wanted to wait and see. What if the next guy was great as well, but had long hair? You never know. And that was the deal, right? We had that deal,
I
right?
broke the deal.
That was my deal.
So I broke the deal because it was fucking Neil Peart playing.
It's easy to say now.
So,
It was that guy.
but once the audition was done, and we decided, it felt like he was in the band.
Yeah. And then the next week, he came down, we started rehearsing, and then we went to Long and McQuaid's here in Toronto.
Yeah.
Because we got our very first ever advance from the record company, and we could go shopping. And so he wasn't even in the band for a week before he got his pick of any drum kit.
Wow.
And I got to buy
Wow.
my Rickenbacker that
Crazy.
I had been. Was that not the best?
That was the best day ever. Yeah. Like if you're a musician and you're young and you go to a music store on the weekends or whatever, and you just drool, and then eventually after you stop crying, you leave. Maybe come back a couple hours later and go through that whole process again. So to be there and actually have money in our pocket to buy the equipment that we were drooling over.
We felt like it was their money, but it wasn't their money. Yeah, we didn't realize that an advance means an advance on royalties. So it's really our cash.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like it.
But not at the time. It was awesome. I remember, honestly, I can remember the showroom with the gear was set up. It was a sunny day. It was late afternoon. I clearly remember the whole thing.
Yeah, me too. And I remember looking at that Ricky bass. I don't know how many times I'd seen one of them hanging on the wall and never thought I would. So, wow.
Yeah.
We were on tour with this new guy, the new guy. And, I remember us the first couple of gigs, we didn't really know him, but he had a great sense of humor and we were laughing a lot. And we also had another new guy, Howard, Hearns, who was here tonight.
This guy's asking about
He was our tour manager and he was an American. He was a New Jerseyite from America.
That's right.
And so this was a real education, The first gig was in Pittsburgh, Pacific Arena. I remember we flew in on an airplane and everything, taking flights instead of driving. I remember almost crashing into, we were taking a taxi and we almost hit another car. And the taxi driver leaned out the window and said, pardon my language, said, I'll slit your throat, you sucker. And he said, oh, welcome to America. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The evocative expression of frustration. And then we got to the hotel, and I was sharing a room with Hearns.
Because we were all sharing rooms.
The Webster Hotel. That's the kind of idiotic minutia that I remember. And then it was the first gig opening for the Riot and we had 26 minutes to play.
Right. It was a new venue that was a brand new arena that had, a retractable roof. And we got there, we were so excited, the dressing rooms were here, and whoever came out and said, oh, no, your dressing room is down this hall. And after about an hour and a half of walking down that hall, we got to the little tiny dressing room.
But it was still great. There was booze in it.
There was actual bottle of, there was a Blue Nun, I think, and a deli tray.
And I have a bottle of Southern Comfort, which I ordered for, I don't know why, but Howard was saying, you can get booze on your rider, so you should order some booze. And I don't drink spirits. I didn't really know what to order, and I had read that it said, a lot of cool rock.
Janis Joplin. And you kind of look like her, so.
Damn. Shot of this stuff. And I was dizzy for the whole 26 minutes we were on stage. It was just like, it's over? Wow. How were we?
Yeah. That was exciting though. The roof was open, and, it was early. We were an opener.
Yeah.
And people were still coming in. There were only about 10% of the audience was in the building. And the portion of the stage that we got was the size of this table. It was like tiny, right on the edge.
Yeah, but it was awesome.
Wow, it was
really exciting. I think it was exciting. I don't remember it. I was so busy.
We were drunk.
And we did 4 shows with them, and that's really the tour we got to know Neil.
Yeah.
And we saw this alien in our midst. He reads a lot. Maybe he wants to write the lyrics. You want to write some lyrics for us? I think it was something as simple as that.
Yeah. And we want to give you a job.
Oh, man. Yeah, jeez. Yeah, this guy in the gum and the mints or whatever is going on with this. Yeah, the audition. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And also wild. And it just happened just like that. And it just, you never know. Yeah, it's pretty wild. He had just 18s. He had 2 18s. Wow. So that's like a jazz kit. Well, I mean, not 2 kick drums, but like an 18-inch bass drum is like jazz. That's not rock and roll at all. Like, it should at least be a 20, at least 22, 24 even, right? Drummers, right? So, wild. Yeah, many more funny moments. Lots of funny stuff. He didn't have cases. He had garbage bags. That's pretty wild. Like, he wouldn't even just have it loose. Like, I've seen guys just like the drums are loose, but not like in garbage bags. Okay, whatever. Interesting. Yeah, and that's wild that they had in advance and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the record business was different back then, right? Definitely a different kind of thing. And yeah, it does make sense that especially at that age, when you're that young, all that, it would feel like it's their money, not your money. Especially if you're not adept at all that. Like, it's all, I mean, at that point, it's still all new, really. It's not like today where even just regular people, just like people that are starting out are going to know things like that just off the bat because you're hearing about it. You're hearing about the stories that people like this have. Yeah. Anyways, very cool. All right, there's one more part. There is one more part. And so far, they just got past their first tour. the Neil audition, their first tour. They're still at the beginning. I knew it. I was like, this is not gonna. How much are they really gonna be able to talk about? Yeah. Anyways, very cool. All right, I'll catch you in the last part next. See you then. Later.